Tragedy strikes Vancouver Festival, 11 lives lost in shocking car attack. A devastating tragedy unfolded in Vancouver over the weekend, shaking the entire nation to its core just a day before the federal election. What was supposed to be a vibrant celebration of Filipino culture turned into a scene of unimaginable horror when a car plowed through a crowded street festival, killing 11 people, from a 5-year-old child to a 65-year-old elder, and leaving dozens more injured. On Sunday, authorities officially charged 30-year-old Kaiji Adam Low with 8 counts of second-degree murder, and more charges are likely on the way. Investigators confirmed that terrorism has been ruled out, pointing instead to Low's long history of mental health struggles. He appeared in court and remains in custody, with no attorney yet publicly listed for his defense. The attack occurred just after 8 p.m. on Saturday during the Lapu Lapu Day Festival, a joyous event celebrating Filipino pride and heritage. Witnesses say the driver behind the wheel of a black Audi SUV slowly rolled past a barricade before suddenly slamming the accelerator, barreling into the heart of the festivities. The aftermath was nothing short of horrifying. Bodies lay scattered across the street. In the front of the SUV was left crumpled from the force of the impact. "It's the darkest day in Vancouver's history," said Interim Police Chief Steve Rye during a somber press conference. His voice reflected the sorrow of an entire community grappling with the unthinkable. The sorrow spilled into the streets Sunday night as hundreds gathered for a candlelight vigil to honor the victims. Flowers, tears, and raw emotion filled the air. Among the mourners was Emily Daniels, who arrived with a bouquet in hand. "It's just heartbreaking," she said quietly. "You never think something so awful could happen right where you live." Others who had attended the festival struggled to process the nightmare. Nathalie Nairn and her teenage daughter, who had been part of Saturday's festivities, recalled the terror of seeing the damaged SUV and lifeless bodies. "Something very dark happened last night," Nathalie said through tears. Eyewitness accounts paint a chilling picture. Chris Pangilinan, who had set up a clothing booth at the festival, described the moment the SUV lurched forward. "He just floored it. I'll never forget the sound. The sickening thuds as bodies hit the car. People were tossed into the air like bowling pins," he said, his voice trembling. In the immediate chaos, it wasn't the police who first subdued the driver. It was the festival goers themselves. Bystanders tackled Low and held him until authorities arrived. A video circulating on social media shows the suspect pinned against a chain-link fence, a security guard by his side, while enraged witnesses screamed at him. The man, visibly shaken, muttered, "I'm sorry," clutching his head. Prime Minister Mark Carney, visibly emotional, canceled his campaign events to address the nation's grief. Last night, families lost loved ones. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, he said. They are living every family's worst nightmare. My heart is with every single one of them. The tragedy echoes a painful memory for Canadians. In 2018, a similar attack in Toronto claimed the lives of 10 pedestrians. But this time, the pain feels even more personal for Vancouver's tight-knit Filipino community. Heart-wrenching stories of survival and loss continue to emerge. Karain Nulata, attending the festival with her family, instinctively shielded her grandchildren with her body when she saw the car speeding toward them. Her daughter narrowly escaped, suffering injuries to her arm, but managing to find her family amid the panic. Nulata's brother wasn't as lucky. He was struck and seriously injured, now facing surgery for multiple broken bones. Doctors identified him by presenting his wedding ring to his family in a small pill bottle. Business owner James Cruzat described the horrifying scene, the roar of an engine, the screams and bodies lying lifeless on the street. "It was like a nightmare you couldn't wake up from," he said, still visibly shaken. Teenager Vincent Renon, just 17 years old, also witnessed the chaos as he was leaving the festival. "It felt like something out of a horror movie," he said, recalling the sea of flashing lights, cries for help, and overwhelming fear. For Adonis Kita, who recently reunited with his 9-year-old son from the Philippines, the attack was a brutal welcome to their new life. His son clung to him, sobbing, I'm scared," as the terror unfolded around them. "We just prayed together," said Kita, now deeply concerned about how this trauma will shape his young son's future. Vancouver's Mayor Kenneth Sims spoke openly about the city's grief. "We have suffered our darkest day," he said. "We're hurting, and it's natural to feel fearful right now. But Vancouver remains a resilient, strong, and safe city." The festival was meant to celebrate Lapu Lapu, a Filipino hero known for resisting Spanish colonization. With more than 38,000 Filipino Canadians calling Vancouver home, the event symbolized pride, identity, and community. Despite the tragedy, British Columbia Premier David Eby urged everyone not to let this heinous act define the spirit of the celebration. Instead, he encouraged people to channel their heartbreak into support for the victims and their families. This dark chapter will never be forgotten, but neither will the courage, compassion, and unity shown by a community determined to heal.
For full video, click related link below or like and subscribe this channel.